There's something about the night sky that stops us in our tracks, something primal, almost haunting. Picture this. You're standing under a blanket of stars, and suddenly, a light flickers in the distance. A cosmic anomaly so strange, it sends chills down your spine. What if I told you there are events in the universe so baffling, they've left even the brightest scientists scratching their heads, while spiritual seekers see them as whispers from the divine? These aren't just random quirks of space, they're profound mysteries that blur the line between science and spirituality, challenging our understanding of reality itself. Think about the stories passed down through generations, myths of celestial beings, omens written in the stars, or prophecies tied to cosmic events. Ancient cultures saw the heavens as a mirror of the divine, a canvas where the physical and spiritual worlds intertwined. Fast forward to today, and modern astrophysics is uncovering phenomena that eerily echo these ancient beliefs. Black holes that warp time, unexplained energy surges from deep space, even the eerie synchronicity of celestial events with human consciousness. These aren't just scientific curiosities. They're cosmic riddles that force us to ask, is the universe purely mechanical, or is there something more, something beyond our current grasp? That's the journey we're about to take together. Over the next 20 revelations, we'll explore moments where the universe seems to wink at us, where data and wonder collide. From glowing orbs witnessed by astronauts to strange alignments that defy probability, each phenomenon is a piece of a puzzle, one that might just redefine what we think we know about existence. So lean in, because by the end of this, you won't just see the cosmos differently, you might just see yourself differently too. Ready to dive in? Let's begin. Deep in the fabric of our universe, something strange is tugging at the very structure of reality itself. Imagine a force so powerful, it drags entire galaxies, including our own Milky Way, toward an unseen point in space at over 1 million miles per hour. This isn't science fiction. It's the Great Attractor, one of the cosmos' most baffling enigmas. Astronomers first noticed its effects decades ago when galaxies appeared to move against the expected flow of cosmic expansion, as if pulled by some invisible hand. But here's the twist. The Great Attractor lies hidden behind the dense stars and dust of our galaxy's center, shrouded from direct observation. It's like the universe is playing a cosmic game of hide and seek, and we're still searching. Scientists have scrambled to explain this phenomenon. Some propose it's a colossal cluster of dark matter, the mysterious substance that makes up most of the universe's mass yet emits no light. Others suggest it could be a supercluster of galaxies so massive, its gravity warps the fabric of space-time around it. But even these explanations fall short. The Great Attractor's pull is stronger than what visible matter alone could produce. Could there be something even more extraordinary at play? Ancient cultures might have called it a divine current, a sacred force guiding celestial bodies like unseen rivers in the cosmos. Modern physicists, meanwhile, wrestle with theories involving higher dimensions or cosmic strings, threads of energy left over from the birth of the universe. What makes the Great Attractor so captivating is how it bridges two worlds. On one side, hard data, telescopes mapping the motion of galaxies, supercomputers simulating gravitational forces. On the other, the lingering question, why does this feel eerily familiar? Hindu texts speak of Vishnu, the preserver, whose movements sustain universal order. Indigenous star lore describes sky rivers that carry souls between worlds. Even the Bible mentions the foundations of the earth trembling at forces beyond human comprehension. Coincidence, perhaps, But when science and spirituality both point toward invisible forces shaping existence, it's worth pausing to wonder. The Great Attractor doesn't just challenge our models of physics, it invites us to reconsider whether the universe is purely mechanical or if there's a deeper, more mysterious intelligence woven into its fabric. And here's the humbling truth: despite all our technology, we've only glimpsed a fraction of this phenomenon. New telescopes peer through the galactic veil, revealing hints of an even larger structure, the Laniakea supercluster, of which the Great Attractor may just be one small part. It's a cosmic matryoshka doll, each layer pulling back to reveal greater complexity. One day we might uncover its secrets, or perhaps, like all great mysteries, it will remain just out of reach, a reminder that the universe always keeps one last card up its sleeve. On a quiet August night in 1977, a radio telescope scanning the skies for signs of extraterrestrial intelligence picked up something extraordinary: a burst of radio waves so intense, so perfectly aligned with the frequency scientists predicted aliens might use, that it defied all natural explanations. The signal lasted exactly 72 seconds, blazing across the receiver like a cosmic flare before vanishing without a trace. When astronomer Jerry Amon reviewed the data printout, he was so stunned he circled the sequence in red ink and scribbled a single word beside it: "Wow." That moment marked the birth of one of astronomy's greatest unsolved mysteries, the WOW signal. What made this signal so remarkable wasn't just its strength or its precise frequency. It was the way it seemed tailor-made to catch our attention. The signal originated near the constellation Sagittarius, in a region devoid of known stars or planets capable of producing such a transmission. Unlike the random crackle of cosmic static, it was narrowband, a focused, deliberate beam, the kind a civilization might use to announce its existence. Yet, despite decades of searching, no repeat signal has ever been detected. Was it a one-time cosmic fluke, a fleeting glitch in our equipment, or, as some daringly speculate, a message deliberately sent and then abruptly cut off? The spiritual implications are just as intriguing. Across cultures, the stars have long been seen as messengers. The Dogon people of Mali spoke of celestial beings who descended with knowledge of Sirius, a star system invisible to the naked eye, yet precisely detailed in their oral traditions. The ancient Sumerians believed the gods communicated through the Mi, divine frequencies that held the secrets of civilization. Even in modern times, channelers and intuitives describe receiving downloads from cosmic sources, information that arrives in bursts like the WOW signal itself. Could these be echoes of the same phenomenon, filtered through different lenses of understanding? Science, of course, demands rigor. Skeptics point to possible natural explanations: a passing comet's hydrogen emission, a rogue satellite's reflection, or even an undiscovered astrophysical process. Yet none fully account for the signal's unique properties. The more we learn, the stranger it becomes. Recent research suggests the signal's structure may have carried embedded patterns, mathematical ratios found in sacred geometry and ancient architecture. Whether by chance or design, the WOW signal seems to dance on the edge of meaning, teasing us with the possibility of intention behind its brief, brilliant appearance. Perhaps the most haunting question isn't where the signal came from, but why it hasn't happened again. If it was a greeting, why the silence? Some theorists propose it was a beacon, activated for a moment to alert us to a larger presence. Others wonder if we missed the reply, our telescopes pointed the wrong way at the wrong time. Or maybe, just maybe, the universe operates on a timescale beyond our comprehension, where 72 seconds is a heartbeat and a human lifetime is but a flicker in an ongoing cosmic conversation. The WOW signal remains a riddle wrapped in the vastness of space, a single note in a symphony we're only beginning to hear. Picture the universe as a vast spiderweb, glistening with galaxies, except most of the threads holding it together are completely invisible. That's the paradox of dark matter, the ghostly substance that makes up 85% of all mass in the cosmos. We can't see it, touch it, or detect it with any instrument we've invented. Yet without it, galaxies would fly apart, stars would scatter like spilled marbles, and the universe as we know it wouldn't exist. Scientists have spent decades chasing this phantom, mapping its gravitational fingerprints on the fabric of space-time, while spiritual traditions have long spoken of unseen forces that bind reality together. The parallels are enough to make anyone wonder, are we grappling with the same mystery just through different lenses? Take the way dark matter behaves. It doesn't interact with light, yet its gravitational pull sculpts the cosmos. Entire galaxies spin faster than they should, held in place by something we can't see. Clusters of galaxies move in ways that defy the laws of visible matter, as if tugged by invisible hands. It's like watching marionettes dance, knowing there must be strings, but the strings themselves remain maddeningly out of view. Physicists have proposed particles like WIMP or actions as potential candidates, yet every experiment to catch them has come up empty. The harder we search, the more elusive dark matter becomes, almost as if it's teasing us with its refusal to be pinned down. Now, shift perspectives. For centuries, mystics and sages have described an invisible life force that permeates everything. The Hindu concept of prana, the Chinese kai, the Polynesian mana all speak of an energy that animates the material world without being material itself. Even Western esoteric traditions reference the ether, a subtle medium thought to fill the void between stars. These ideas were often dismissed as pre-scientific myth. But what if they were intuitive glimpses of a truth we're now encountering through equations and telescopes? Dark matter doesn't just challenge our understanding of physics. It blurs the line between the measurable and the mystical, forcing us to confront how little we truly know about the scaffolding of reality. Here's where things get even stranger. Some cutting-edge theories suggest dark matter might not be a single substance at all, but an entire hidden ecosystem, particles, forces, even shadow galaxies coexisting alongside our own. Imagine a parallel universe woven into ours but invisible, its gravity the only trace of its presence. It's a concept that feels ripped from ancient creation myths, where worlds overlap and spirits walk unseen. Indigenous cosmologies often describe layered realities, with ancestors or deities inhabiting dimensions just beyond perception. Modern string theory, with its 10 or 11 dimensions, isn't so far removed from these visions. The difference: one uses particle colliders, the other meditation or ritual. Both, in their own way, are reaching for the invisible. Perhaps the most humbling lesson dark matter teaches is how much of existence operates beyond our senses. We're like fish in a pond, unaware of the wind rippling the surface above. Our instruments extend our perception, but they're still built to detect what we already expect. What if dark matter isn't just an unanswered question, but a doorway, a hint that reality is far weirder, far more interconnected than our textbooks dare to suggest? Every time a telescope captures a galaxy bending light from some distant star, we're not just seeing the effect of dark matter. We're catching a fleeting glimpse of the universe's hidden architecture, the secret blueprint we're only beginning to decode. Somewhere in the depths of space, the laws of physics unravel. A black hole isn't just an object, it's a tear in the fabric of reality itself, where gravity becomes so intense that not even light can resist its pull. But what happens beyond that point of no return, the event horizon? Science calls it a singularity, a place where time stops and space curves infinitely. Yet, what if that's not the end of the story? Some physicists propose these cosmic monsters might be tunnels to other universes, wormholes disguised as destruction. It's a theory that feels less like astrophysics and more like the oldest myths humanity has ever told. Consider the Kalachakra, an ancient Tibetan Buddhist text describing a celestial wheel, a gateway between dimensions where time bends and consciousness transforms. Or the Aboriginal Dreamtime stories of sky heroes vanishing into sacred whirlpools, only to emerge in new worlds. Even the Norse Yggdrasil, the world tree, was said to connect realms through roots and branches, not unlike the tangled space-time near a black hole's core. These aren't just poetic metaphors, they're eerily precise intuitions about a universe far stranger than our ancestors could have measured, yet somehow they sensed it. Here's where science and spirituality collide most dramatically. In meditation, seekers often describe encountering a void, a silent, boundless darkness that isn't empty but full of potential. The event horizon of a black hole mirrors this experience, a threshold where all sensory input ceases, where the ego dissolves into the infinite. Quantum physics even hints that information swallowed by a black hole isn't destroyed, but encoded on its surface like a cosmic hard drive. Could this be why mystics and physicists alike speak of reality as a hologram where the deepest truths are written at the edges? Yet black holes aren't just philosophical puzzles. They're cosmic architects. When two collide, they send ripples through space-time itself, gravitational waves we can now detect. These vibrations echo like temple bells ringing across the universe. Some interpret these waves as the universe speaking in a language deeper than math, a resonance that ancient sound-based spiritual practices, from Hindu mantras to Aboriginal songlines, have tried to channel for millennia. The difference: one uses lasers and mirrors, the other human intention. Both seek to tune into the universe's hidden frequencies. What truly unsettles scientists isn't the violence of black holes, but their silence. Past the event horizon, no signal can escape, no light, no sound, no data. It's the ultimate mystery, a cosmic censorship that feels almost deliberate. Spiritual traditions have a parallel, the concept of the unspeakable, the ineffable, the idea that ultimate reality can't be described, only experienced. Perhaps black holes are the universe's way of showing us there are truths too vast for equations or words, realms where science and spirit finally merge into wonder. The most radical theories suggest black holes might even birth new universes. Inside every singularity, space and time could rebound, creating a fresh cosmos with its own laws. It's a cyclical vision straight out of Hindu cosmology, where universes breathe in and out like living things. Whether through telescopes or meditation cushions, humanity keeps circling the same awe, that destruction and creation might be one process, that death is a door, and that the darkest places in the cosmos could be where light begins anew. The universe is unimaginably vast, trillions of stars, each potentially hosting planets where life could thrive. Given the numbers, intelligent civilizations should be common. So why does the cosmos feel so silent? This is the Fermi Paradox, a question that unsettles scientists and dreamers alike. If aliens exist, where is everybody? The math says they should be here. The evidence or lack of it says otherwise. Some argue we're alone, a cosmic fluke. Others believe the truth is far stranger, hidden in the gaps between what we can measure and what we can only sense. Consider the eerie precision of our isolation. Earth sits in a quiet galactic suburb, shielded by distance and time. Maybe civilizations bloom and fade too quickly to overlap. Or perhaps they're avoiding us, a chilling thought known as the zoo hypothesis, where advanced beings observe from the shadows like caretakers of some interstellar wildlife preserve. But what if the answer isn't about distance or indifference? Spiritual traditions have long proposed that higher intelligences might exist beyond the physical, in dimensions our instruments can't scan. Hindu texts speak of devas, luminous beings inhabiting subtler planes of existence. Indigenous shamans describe star ancestors who communicate through dreams, not radio waves. Even modern experiences of close encounters often report telepathic contact, not technological handshakes. Science, meanwhile, grapples with its own multidimensional possibilities. String theory suggests up to 11 dimensions, most curled up, tiny and hidden. Could advanced civilizations have mastered these layers, existing all around us but just out of phase? It's a concept that bridges quantum physics and ancient mysticism, both hinting that reality is far more layered than it appears. The great silence might not be silence at all, but a limitation of our perception. Like ants unaware of Wi-Fi signals, we might be surrounded by cosmic conversations happening in frequencies we can't yet access. Then there's the haunting idea that we're early. The universe is 13.8 billion years old, but it could last trillions more. What if we're among the first civilizations, pioneers in a cosmos still waking up? Or what if others have transcended physical form, merging with technology or consciousness itself, leaving behind the need for starships and signals? The paradox forces us to confront not just the nature of life out there, but the nature of life's potential. Are we defining intelligence too narrowly, searching for beings like us when the universe might favor forms we can't yet imagine? The spiritual lens offers a provocative twist. What if contact isn't about technology, but readiness? Many wisdom traditions teach that enlightenment precedes access to higher realms. Maybe the universe has a threshold, a vibrational or ethical milestone civilizations must meet before joining the cosmic community. It's a humbling thought. Our telescopes scan the skies, but the real barrier might not be space. It might be us. Until we evolve scientifically, spiritually, or both, the stars could remain silent by design, waiting for us to truly listen. The Fermi Paradox doesn't just challenge our science, it mirrors humanity's oldest yearning. We ache to know if we're alone, if the cosmos is indifferent or alive with meaning. The answer, whatever it is, will redefine not just our place in the universe, but the universe's place in us. Until then, the silence isn't emptiness. It's an invitation to keep searching, to stay curious, and perhaps to grow into the kind of beings the stars would finally speak to. Close your eyes and imagine the faintest whisper, an echo so old, it carries the memory of the universe's first breath. That's the cosmic microwave background, a ghostly glow permeating every corner of space. It's the afterimage of the Big Bang, light stretched thin over 13.8 billion years, cooling into microwave frequencies barely warmer than absolute zero. Scientists call it the universe's baby picture, a snapshot from when everything was smaller than an atom, hotter than a star, and bursting into existence. But peel back the layers, and this radiation isn't just data. It's a relic humming with the same awe that fills ancient creation myths. The discovery of this background glow was almost accidental. In 1965, two radio astronomers named Arno Penzias and Robert Wilson kept picking up a mysterious static no matter where they pointed their antenna. At first, they blamed pigeon droppings on their equipment, but after scrubbing it clean, the noise remained a cosmic hiss from every direction. What they'd stumbled upon was the oldest light in existence, radiation released when the universe cooled enough for atoms to form, ending its primordial fireball phase. Today, satellites like Planck map its subtle fluctuations, revealing a cosmic blueprint etched in temperature variations smaller than 1 part in 100,000. These tiny ripples seeded all structure galaxies, clusters, the vast web of matter we see now. It's science reading the universe's birth certificate. Now shift the lens. Hindu cosmology describes the universe emerging from the cosmic sound, Om, a vibration that still underlies all reality. Indigenous Australian traditions speak of the dream time when ancestral beings sang the world into form. The cosmic microwave background isn't just radiation, it's a literal vibration, a frequency we can convert to sound. When scientists translated it into audio, they called it the sound of creation, a deep hum resonating at 47 octaves below middle C. The similarity to spiritual descriptions is uncanny. Could these traditions have intuited a truth now measurable? Or is it that both science and spirituality, when probing deepest reality, arrive at the same metaphor, that existence began with a resonance, a song? What makes this glow so profound is its duality. To physicists, its patterns are equations, evidence of cosmic inflation, dark matter's pull, the balance of forces in the early universe. But stare at those same maps long enough, and they start to resemble mandalas or sacred geometry. The largest fluctuation patterns align curiously with the axis some cultures call the world tree, a central pillar connecting heavens and earth. Even the temperature, 2.7 degrees above absolute zero, mirrors numerology found in mystical texts where the number 277 symbolizes divine completion. Coincidence, maybe, but when science's coldest data points start to rhyme with humanity's oldest symbols, it's hard not to feel the universe is whispering in a language deeper than math. Perhaps the most humbling thought is this: every action we take happens against this backdrop. The light from your screen right now, the warmth of your hand, all of it dances atop this primordial glow like ripples on an ancient sea. We're not just observers of the cosmic microwave background, we're made from it. Every atom in your body was forged in stars, and those stars were born from the density variations imprinted in this radiation. You're literally stardust wrapped around an echo of creation. Science traces this lineage through nucleosynthesis and physics. Spiritual traditions might call it divine remembrance, the idea that we carry the universe's origin within us. Both perspectives, in their own way, point to the same astonishing truth. The Big Bang isn't just an event in the past, it's the ground of our being, a living whisper we're still learning to hear. And here's the kicker: we're only seeing part of the story. The cosmic microwave background is a curtain, and behind it may lie even earlier echoes. Some theories predict a dark flow, a mysterious tug in the radiation's patterns hinting at other universes beyond our own. Others suggest primordial gravitational waves could reveal the moment of inflation itself, a trillionth of a second after time began. Whatever we find, one thing's certain: this ancient light isn't just about how the universe started. It's about how we, tiny and fleeting, can reach back and touch the moment everything began, not with our hands but with our wonder. Two particles born from the same quantum event drift light years apart yet change one, and the other instantly reacts, as if space and time don't exist between them. This isn't magic, it's quantum entanglement, the phenomenon so bizarre even Einstein dismissed it as spooky action at a distance. Yet decades of experiments confirm it's real. Particles communicate faster than light, breaking every rule of classical physics. What if this isn't just a quirk of the tiny, but a clue that the universe is fundamentally interconnected in ways science is only beginning to grasp? Take the famous Bell test experiments, where entangled photons mirrored each other's state's polarization, spin, even direction across vast distances. No signal could travel between them. The correlation happened instantaneously, as if the particles shared a hidden language. Physicists call this non-locality, a property so radical it upends our notion of separation. But here's where it gets mystical. Ancient Hindu texts describe Indra's net, a cosmic web where every jewel reflects all others tug one, and the whole net shimmers. Taoist philosophy speaks of the Tao, an indivisible unity underlying apparent duality. Even indigenous traditions hold that every rock, tree, and star is woven into a living web of relationships. Quantum entanglement echoes these visions with eerie precision, suggesting that what we perceive as isolated objects might be threads in a deeper, invisible tapestry. The implications ripple far beyond the lab. If particles can sync across cosmic distances, could consciousness play by similar rules? Studies on human intention show startling parallels. In one experiment, pairs of meditators separated by miles exhibited synchronized brainwave patterns when focusing on each other, an effect with no known physical mechanism. Shamans and mystics have long claimed they can influence distant events through focused will, a concept modern science might one day explain through quantum-like connections. Even prayer studies reveal anomalies where healing intentions correlate with recovery rates, despite no physical contact. Skeptics call it coincidence, but entanglement teaches us that reality might operate on connections we're only starting to map. Yet the most profound question isn't how entanglement works, but why. Some theorists propose it's a remnant of the early universe, when everything was compressed into a single point, a primordial unity that never fully severed. Others speculate it hints at higher dimensions where particles are still close, in ways our 3D minds can't visualize. Then there's the holographic principle, the idea that the universe is a projection of information stored at its edges, making entanglement a glitch in the cosmic code. Whatever the answer, one thing's clear: the universe seems to prioritize connection over separation, a truth both physicists and sages have circled for millennia. Perhaps entanglement's greatest gift is humility. It forces us to confront that reality isn't just stranger than we imagine, it's stranger than we can imagine. The more we probe, the more the universe resists being chopped into isolated parts. Every entangled pair is a whisper that wholeness might be the default, and that the boundaries we take for granted between you and me, between here and a distant star, are illusions woven into something far vaster. Science calls it non-locality, the mystics called it oneness. Both point toward a truth we're just beginning to feel in our bones, that in the quantum fabric of existence, nothing is ever truly alone. You're absolutely certain you remember something clear as day, only to discover it never happened. Not just a misremembered detail, but an entire event that supposedly unfolded in a way the world insists it didn't. This is the Mandela Effect, named after the widespread false memory of Nelson Mandela dying in prison during the 1980s, despite him being released and later becoming South Africa's president. Millions share these alternate recollections, from movie quotes that were never spoken to brand logos that apparently never existed as remembered. But here's the unsettling question. If so many people independently recall the same false reality, could it be more than just faulty memory? Could it be evidence of realities shifting or even overlapping? Science offers one explanation: memory isn't a perfect recording. Our brains reconstruct events, filling gaps with assumptions or external suggestions. The more a false memory is reinforced through social media, pop culture, or group discussion, the more real it feels. Psychologists call this confabulation, where the mind creates coherent but fabricated narratives without conscious intention. Think of it like a Wikipedia page that's been subtly edited over time. You might not notice the changes until someone points out the original. This makes the Mandela Effect a fascinating case study in how easily human recollection can be manipulated, even on a mass scale. But what if there's another layer? Quantum physics has long toyed with the idea of parallel universes, infinite variations of reality branching from every decision. The many worlds interpretation suggests that every possible outcome exists somewhere in the multiverse. If consciousness somehow tunes in to these alternate timelines, even briefly, could that explain why groups of people remember events that technically never occurred in this version of reality? It's a wild idea, but consider this. Quantum particles exist in multiple states until observed, collapsing into one reality. What if human observation does something similar on a macro scale, and the Mandela Effect is a fleeting glimpse of roads not taken? Spiritual traditions have their own take. Ancient Hindu texts describe Maya, the illusion of reality, suggesting the material world is more fluid than it appears. Modern mystics speak of reality shifts, where collective intention or heightened awareness can alter the fabric of existence. Even the law of attraction, the idea that thoughts shape reality, echoes this notion. If consciousness plays an active role in constructing the universe, as some quantum theories propose, then shared false memories might not be errors at all. They could be residues of realities that once were or might yet be. Perhaps the most compelling examples come from the details people swear by. The Berenstain Bears spelled with an EI, not an A. The Monopoly Man's missing monocle, even geographical shifts, like South America being farther west than remembered. These aren't vague impressions, they're specific, visceral memories shared across cultures and continents. Skeptics argue it's just pattern recognition gone awry, but when thousands independently describe the same, alternate version, it's hard to dismiss as mere coincidence. Here's where science and spirituality converge uncomfortably. Both grapple with the nature of reality itself. One uses fMRI scans to study memory formation. The other speaks of Akashic records, a cosmic archive of all events. Both, in their own way, acknowledge that what we perceive as solid and stable might be far more malleable than we think. The Mandela Effect doesn't just challenge our trust in memory. It nudges us to consider whether reality is a fixed stage or a collaborative projection, one that might, just maybe, have more than one script. So the next time someone corrects you on a fact you'd bet your life on, pause. Maybe you're wrong, or maybe, for a moment, you brushed against another version of the story, one where the universe hadn't made up its mind yet. A patient swallows a sugar pill, convinced it's a powerful drug, and their body responds as if it were real. Pain fades, symptoms lift, scans even show physical changes in their brain and immune system. This is the placebo effect in action, one of medicine's most profound mysteries. It's not trickery or imagination, it's measurable biology triggered by belief alone. Doctors can't fully explain it, yet this phenomenon echoes what shamans and healers have known for millennia. The mind doesn't just perceive reality, it helps create it. Consider the startling data. In clinical trials, placebos have healed ulcers, eased Parkinson's tremors, and even mimicked the effects of surgery when patients believed they'd received real treatment. In one landmark study, asthma sufferers given fake inhalers experienced airway dilation despite no active medication being present. Their lungs responded to expectation, not chemistry. Modern neuroscience reveals why. Belief triggers the release of endorphins, dopamine, and other healing compounds, while reducing stress hormones that worsen illness. It's as if the brain has its own pharmacy, dispensing remedies based on what we anticipate. Ancient traditions recognized this power long before double-blind studies. Tibetan monks speak of tulpa, thought forms so vivid they manifest physical effects. Hawaiian kahunas performed healing rituals where symbols replaced medicine, trusting intention to do the work. Even the Bible recounts Jesus using mud and spit substances with no inherent curative properties, knowing faith would activate healing. These practices weren't just primitive medicine, they were early experiments in neurobiology, harnessing the mind-body link modern science is now quantifying. The deeper implications unsettle materialist views of reality. If a sugar pill can alter biochemistry, what else might belief influence? Studies show placebos work even when patients know they're taking them, suggesting it's not deception, but subconscious programming at play. This mirrors quantum physics' observer effect, where the act of measurement changes an experiment's outcome. Both hint that consciousness isn't a passive witness, but an active participant in shaping the physical world. Perhaps most astonishing is the Placebo Effect belief's dark twin. When people expect harm, their bodies often comply. In one chilling case, a man participating in a drug trial died after overdosing on placebo pills, his systems shutting down from sheer conviction they were toxic. Indigenous cultures have long warned of bone-pointing rituals where curses kill through psychological terror. Modern medicine sees parallels in patients deteriorating after negative diagnoses, their decline outpacing the actual disease. This raises a radical question. If expectation can rewrite biology, where do we draw the line between mind and matter? Cutting-edge theories propose that placebo responses might tap into epigenetic mechanisms, switching genes on or off through mental states. It's a concept that bridges Harvard labs and Hindu Vedas, both suggesting we're not fixed biological machines, but dynamic expressions of consciousness interfacing with form. The placebo effect doesn't just challenge medicine, it redefines human potential. Every recovery, every relapse, every unexplained remission might carry traces of this hidden dialogue between belief and body. Science calls it a confounding variable. Spiritual traditions call it proof of our creative power. Both agree on one thing: reality, it seems, is far more negotiable than we've been taught. A man flatlines in a hospital bed, his brainwaves silent, his heart still, yet moments later, he revives with an impossible story. He describes floating above his body, watching doctors scramble to save him. He speaks of a tunnel, a radiant light, even conversations with departed loved ones. This isn't fiction. It's a near-death experience, or NDE, one of the most hotly debated mysteries straddling science and spirituality. What's astonishing isn't just how often these reports occur. Studies suggest up to 20% of cardiac arrest survivors recall them, but how eerily similar they are across cultures, religions, and even eras. Skeptics dismiss them as hallucinations, but when a blind person accurately describes surgical tools used during their resuscitation, or a child recounts meeting a grandparent they'd never been told about, the explanation isn't so simple. Medical researchers have scrambled to replicate NDEs in labs, probing whether oxygen deprivation or a flood of endorphins might spark these visions, yet the data defies easy dismissal. In one study, hospitals placed hidden images on high shelves, objects only visible from above. Several patients who reported out-of-body experiences later described these images perfectly, details they couldn't have known while unconscious. Even more baffling are cases where brain activity was clinically absent during the experience. By all scientific measures, these patients shouldn't have been able to form memories, let alone coherent narratives. So where or what was perceiving these events? Ancient texts offer striking parallels. The Tibetan Book of the Dead meticulously describes a luminous tunnel, a life review, and encounters with beings of light uncannily mirroring modern ND accounts. Egyptian funerary texts speak of weighing one's deeds before returning to the body, a theme echoed in countless contemporary stories. Even Plato recounted a soldier's near-death journey in The Republic, complete with a river of forgetting and a choice to return. These similarities span millennia and continents, suggesting either a shared neurological quirk or something far more profound, that consciousness might not be tethered to the brain after all. The most haunting cases involve verifiable information. A woman revived from coma described overhearing conversations in another ward, words spoken while she was hooked to machines confirming no brain activity. A boy who drowned recalled meeting a sister who died before his birth, naming details his parents had never shared. These aren't fuzzy dreams, they're precise, testable claims that challenge materialism's core assumption that the mind is purely a product of the brain. Some physicists speculate about quantum consciousness, proposing that awareness might operate at a level where death doesn't immediately sever its connection. Others point to the hard problem of consciousness itself. Why subjective experience exists at all if neurons firing are all there is. NDs also share a transformative quality. Survivors often return with vanished phobias, heightened intuition, or sudden artistic talents changes that baffle neurologists. Their brains show no physical rewiring, yet their personalities shift dramatically. Many abandon careers for service, lose their fear of death, or develop synesthesia, senses blending in ways science can't explain. It's as if touching the threshold of death unlocks latent capacities, hinting that the brain might be more filter than creator of consciousness. Perhaps the most humbling lesson of NDs is their emotional resonance, descriptions of unconditional love, of a light that knows you utterly, leave even atheist researchers unsettled. These aren't just visual or auditory hallucinations, they're embodied encounters with what feels like a higher intelligence. Science can't measure meaning, yet meaning is precisely what near-death experiencers insist they've found. Whether these journeys are glimpses of an afterlife, a biological failsafe, or something beyond our current frameworks, they force a reckoning. If consciousness can operate independently of a functioning brain, then death might not be the end we assume. And that possibility, however unsettling or comforting, changes everything. One summer morning in 1980, a farmer in southern England walked into his wheat field and froze. Overnight, a perfect circle 30 feet wide had appeared, the stalks flattened in an intricate spiral pattern, as if some immense, invisible hand had pressed them down with impossible precision. Thus began the modern mystery of crop circles, those vast geometric designs that materialize mysteriously in fields across the globe. From simple circles to fractals spanning acres, these formations aren't just haphazard stomping. They exhibit mathematical precision, Fibonacci sequences, tetrahedrons, even equations mirroring quantum physics. Some designs are so complex, with multiple layers of woven stalks and nodes bent without breakage, that teams of engineers admit they couldn't recreate them in a single night without leaving traces. So who or what is crafting these ephemeral masterpieces? Skeptics point to pranksters with planks and ropes, and indeed, some circles have been confessed hoaxes. Yet the sheer scale and sophistication of others defy explanation. Take the 2001 Julia Set formation in Wiltshire, a swirling fractal pattern covering 42,000 square feet, appearing in under 4 hours on a moonlit night. Astrophysicists calculated that replicating it would require a team of 50 people working in perfect coordination, yet no footprints or tire marks were found. Even more baffling are reports of strange lights hovering over fields before formations appear, or instruments malfunctioning within the circles. Some visitors describe dizziness, camera batteries draining instantly, or compasses spinning wildly, phenomena that echo descriptions of sacred sites and energy vortices. The designs themselves whisper of something deeper. Many mirror ancient sacred geometry, the flower of life, the Kabbalistic tree of life, even Mayan calendric symbols. These aren't random doodles, They're visual representations of harmonic ratios found in nature, from seashell spirals to galaxy arms. Could they be attempts to communicate universal truths? Some researchers propose the circles encode mathematical constants or star maps, while linguists have tried decoding them as pictograms, akin to humanity's earliest writing. Indigenous elders from Hopi and Druidic traditions have identified symbols matching their prophecies of planetary awakening, suggesting the formations might be wake-up calls woven in wheat. Then there's the biological enigma. Studies of crops inside genuine circles show abnormal changes at the cellular level. Nodes elongated or exploded, seed embryos altered, as if exposed to intense microwave or plasma energy. Soil samples reveal magnetic particles and crystallized minerals typically formed under extreme heat. Yet the stalks aren't scorched, they're bent fluidly, often continuing to grow horizontally. Whatever creates these patterns seems to wield energy with surgical precision, technology beyond our current grasp. Military patents for directed energy weapons pale in comparison to the finesse displayed in these living canvases. Perhaps the most haunting theory bridges science and spirit. Ancient texts from India to Egypt describe vimanas or sky chariots leaving geometric imprints as portals between realms. Modern physics speculates about transient wormholes or fourth-dimensional beings for whom such patterns are natural art. Whether the circles are alien blueprints, Earth energy signatures, or a cosmic consciousness pressing symbols into the land, they challenge our assumptions about reality's boundaries. After all, the greatest art has always asked more questions than it answers, and these silent, sprawling glyphs in the grain may be humanity's most enigmatic invitation to look up and wonder. Imagine firing a single particle, an electron, perhaps toward a barrier with two slits. Logically, it should pass through one slit or the other, landing predictably on the detector screen behind it. But here's where the universe stops making sense. When no one's watching, the particle doesn't behave like a tiny bullet. Instead, it morphs into a wave, passing through both slits simultaneously, creating an interference pattern of light and dark bands, a hallmark of wave behavior. The moment you set up a detector to observe which slit it actually goes through, the wave collapses, the particle chooses a single path, and the interference pattern vanishes. This is the double-slit experiment, a quantum riddle so unsettling, it forces us to confront a radical idea. Reality might not exist independently of our observation. What's even stranger is that this isn't limited to electrons. Photons, atoms, even molecules as large as buckyballs exhibit this wave-particle duality. The larger the object, the fuzzier the effect, but it's there. Physics textbooks call it the observer effect, but that term barely scratches the surface. This isn't about measurement tools disturbing the system. It's about the act of observation itself, conscious attention seeming to determine whether a particle is a localized thing or a smeared-out wave of possibilities. The implications are staggering. If a particle's state depends on whether it's being watched, does that mean the universe only crystallizes into definite reality when a mind interacts with it? Spiritual traditions have whispered versions of this for millennia. The Hindu concept of Maya teaches that the material world is an illusion, a projection shaped by perception. Buddhist philosophy speaks of dependent origination, the idea that nothing exists independently, only in relation to other phenomena. Even the ancient Greek philosopher Protagoras declared, man is the measure of all things. These aren't poetic metaphors, they're eerily precise intuitions about a participatory universe, one where consciousness isn't just a passenger but an active ingredient in creation. Modern physics takes this further with the von Neumann-Wigner interpretation, suggesting consciousness itself causes the wave function to collapse. Then there's the quantum eraser experiment, where deleting observation data after the fact can retroactively restore wave behavior, as if the universe remembers whether it was watched and adjusts its past accordingly. It's enough to make you question the very nature of time and causality. Are we, by the simple act of looking, stitching reality into existence moment by moment? But here's the twist that bridges labs and meditation halls. This isn't just about human observers. The observation that collapses the wave function could be any interaction. A photon hitting a detector, a dust particle colliding with the system. What matters is the irreversible imprint left on the environment, the universe noting itself. In Eastern mysticism, this mirrors the idea of neti-neti. Not this, not that, the understanding that reality is a dance of relationships, not fixed entities. Quantum physics and ancient wisdom both point to a cosmos that's fluid, responsive, and deeply interconnected. So where does that leave us? The double-slit experiment doesn't just challenge our gadgets, it upends our role in existence. We're not passive witnesses to a preordained world. We're participants in a cosmic conversation where every glance, every measurement might be a creative act. Whether through the lens of a microscope or the quiet focus of a monk's gaze, the message is the same. Reality isn't just out there. It's in here, waiting for us to look, and in looking, to shape what we see. Imagine lying awake at night, straining to hear a sound that shouldn't exist, a deep, persistent hum vibrating through your bones, felt more than heard. This is the Tao's hum, an enigma that has haunted the high desert of New Mexico since the early 1990s. Described as a low-frequency drone, like a distant diesel engine idling, it's audible only to about 2% of the population, those with so-called hum-hearer physiology. But here's what baffles scientists. No matter how intensely they've searched, no physical source for the sound has ever been found. Microphones don't pick it up. Seismic monitors detect no unusual activity. Even military bases nearby deny involvement. So what's causing this sonic ghost, and why does it seem to whisper secrets only certain ears can decode? Theories range from the pragmatic to the metaphysical. Some researchers point to infrasound frequencies below 20 Hz, which can travel vast distances and resonate with human organs. Natural sources like ocean waves or shifting tectonic plates might generate such tones, but none align precisely with Tao's reports. Others suspect secret underground facilities, given New Mexico's history with military tech like the Manhattan Project. Yet declassified documents reveal no projects matching the hum's profile. Then there's the electrical grid hypothesis, power lines or industrial equipment emitting vibrations. But when utilities shut down sections for testing, the hum persists unfazed. What's truly eerie are the psychological effects. Hum hearers report more than annoyance. They describe a sense of being tuned to something larger. Some experience heightened intuition, vivid dreams, or even temporary healing of chronic pain while the sound is present. Indigenous elders in the area note parallels with ceremonial drums or chant frequencies used to induce trance states. Could the hum be an accidental or intentional activation of dormant human capacities? Bioacoustic studies show certain low tones can alter brainwave patterns, nudging consciousness toward theta or delta states associated with deep meditation and psychic phenomena. Then there's the land itself. Taos sits on the Sangre de Cristo Mountains, a region steeped in spiritual lore. Pueblo tribes consider it a portal where earth energies surface. The hum's selective audibility mirrors accounts of sacred sites where only prepared individuals hear ritual bells or chanting. Geologists have identified unusual quartz deposits in the area, crystals known to vibrate at specific frequencies under pressure. If these strata resonate naturally, might they be emitting a tone that harmonizes with human biology in ways we don't yet understand? The most radical theory comes from vibrational metaphysics, which posits that everything in existence, from atoms to galaxies, has a resonant frequency. Some propose the hum is Earth's own heartbeat, a Schumann-like resonance shifting as the planet's energy field evolves. Others speculate it's a dimensional bleed, a sonic artifact from a parallel reality brushing against ours. Whether the hum is a geological oddity, a neurological glitch, or something far stranger, it challenges our assumptions about the boundaries of perception. After all, if a sound can exist without a source, what else might be real beyond the limits of our instruments or our beliefs? For now, the Tao's hum remains an open question, a vibration hovering at the edge of science and spirit. Its listeners share an unshakable certainty. They're hearing something the world isn't ready to explain. And perhaps that's the point. Not every mystery is meant to be solved, only experienced. A reminder that reality hums with frequencies we're still learning to hear. A storm rages outside your window, rain pelts the glass, thunder shakes the walls when suddenly a glowing sphere drifts into view. About the size of a grapefruit, it hovers midair, crackling with silent energy, weaving between furniture as if guided by some unseen intelligence. Then, just as suddenly as it appeared, it vanishes with a pop or a faint hiss. You've just witnessed ball lightning, one of nature's rarest and least understood phenomena. For centuries, these floating orbs have defied explanation, appearing in ship cabins during storms, bouncing along airplane wings, even materializing inside sealed bunkers. Science struggles to replicate them in labs, while folklore insists there's something far stranger: spirits, omens, or fragments of cosmic energy made visible. What makes ball lightning so baffling is its defiance of known physics. Unlike regular lightning, which streaks across the sky in milliseconds, these orbs can linger for minutes, moving against wind currents and passing through solid objects like walls or windows without leaving damage. Witnesses describe colors ranging from white-hot to eerie blues and oranges, sometimes accompanied by a sulfurous smell or a faint hum. The sheer variety of behaviors, some orbs spiral gently, others explode violently, suggests multiple mechanisms might be at play. Mainstream theories propose plasma vortices or silicon nanoparticles combusting in air, but none fully account for the phenomenon's quirks. How can a ball of energy maintain its shape without dispersing? Why does it sometimes vanish without a trace, while other times leaves scorch marks or melted metal? Peel back the scientific journals and you'll find something even more intriguing: the overlap between eyewitness accounts and ancient spiritual narratives. In Japanese tradition, ball lightning is linked to hitodama, floating fireballs said to be souls of the dead. Scottish folklore calls them will-o'-the-wisps, guiding travelers or leading them astray in marshlands. Even Aristotle wrote of fire that dances like a living thing, interpreting it as atmospheric gas igniting. The consistency of these descriptions across cultures hints that ball lightning isn't just a meteorological oddity. It's a bridge between physical and metaphysical worlds, a phenomenon perceived through both empirical observation and symbolic meaning. Modern technology has only deepened the mystery. In 2012, Chinese scientists accidentally captured ball lightning on spectrographs during a thunderstorm, detecting elements like silicon, iron, and calcium, materials typically found in soil. This supports the theory that lightning striking the ground vaporizes minerals, which then condense into glowing spheres. Yet other incidents defy this explanation entirely, like the case of a ball lightning passing through an aircraft cockpit in 1963, witnessed by both pilots and passengers. Radar showed no storms nearby, and the orb left no traces of vaporized material. If it wasn't plasma or nanoparticles, what was it? Perhaps the most unsettling reports come from those who have interacted with the orbs. A woman in 19th century England described one entering her kitchen, circling the room before settling near her feet, like a curious dog. A Ukrainian physicist in the 1970s claimed to have created small, stable balls of plasma in his lab that responded to human gestures, moving toward outstretched hands. These accounts blur the line between energy and agency, leaving us to wonder, could ball lightning possess some rudimentary awareness, or are we projecting sentience onto a natural process we don't yet comprehend? The enigma endures because it challenges our categories. Is ball lightning a weather event, a quantum fluctuation, or something beyond current science? The answer might lie in the gaps between disciplines where atmospheric physics meets frontier energy research, or where laboratory measurements brush against centuries of mystical testimony. Until then, these glowing orbs remain cosmic riddles, floating through storms and stories alike, reminding us that some mysteries refuse to be pinned down by equations or explanations. They flicker at the edges of understanding, here just long enough to make us question everything we think we know about light, energy, and the invisible forces weaving through our world. On the evening of March 13, 1997, the skies over Arizona became the stage for one of the most well-documented and baffling UFO events in modern history. Thousands of people, from Phoenix residents to the state's governor, watched in awe as a mile-wide V-shaped formation of lights moved silently across the horizon. Unlike typical aircraft, this massive structure made no sound, its amber glow pulsing gently as it drifted with impossible precision. Witnesses described it as otherworldly, a single solid craft rather than separate lights, its scale dwarfing even the largest known military aircraft. The event, now known as the Phoenix Lights, wasn't just a fleeting glimpse. It lasted for hours, reappearing in multiple locations, leaving even seasoned pilots and law enforcement officers struggling for explanations. Official responses only deepened the mystery. Authorities initially dismissed the sightings as flares dropped during military exercises, but the timeline didn't match. Witnesses had observed the lights before any flares were deployed, and the object's behavior hovering, reversing direction, moving at speeds no conventional craft could achieve, bore no resemblance to drifting pyrotechnics. Even more compelling were the reports from earlier that night in Nevada, where a similar craft was tracked on radar before vanishing near the Arizona border. The U.S. Air Force eventually conceded that their flare explanation couldn't account for all the sightings, leaving the case officially unresolved. Decades later, the Phoenix Lights remain a thorn in the side of conventional explanations, a puzzle that refuses to fit neatly into either military or astronomical categories. What makes this event particularly fascinating isn't just the sheer number of witnesses, it's the psychological and spiritual aftermath. Many who saw the lights reported profound shifts in their worldview, describing feelings of interconnectedness or sudden insights into humanity's place in the cosmos. Some experienced vivid dreams in the following weeks, featuring encounters with benevolent beings or visions of Earth's future. These accounts mirror patterns found in other mass UFO sightings, where the event acts less like a random anomaly and more like a catalyst for expanded awareness. Indigenous traditions in the region, such as the Hopi, have long spoken of sky people who return during times of transition, offering warnings or wisdom. Could the Phoenix Lights have been a modern manifestation of this ancient narrative? The spiritual angle doesn't negate the physical reality of the phenomenon. Radar data, video footage, and credible witness testimonies all confirm something extraordinary occurred. But the intersection of hard evidence and transformative experience raises a provocative question. What if UFOs aren't just spacecraft from distant planets, but manifestations of a deeper, more enigmatic intelligence? Some researchers propose these objects might be interdimensional, appearing in our reality briefly before slipping back into unseen layers of existence. Others suggest they could be projections of a collective unconscious, materializing during periods of societal upheaval as symbolic messengers. The Phoenix Lights challenge us to hold multiple truths at once. They were undeniably real, verified by radar and thousands of sober observers, yet they also defy reduction to nuts and bolts technology. In this way, they embody the very tension this series explores, the liminal space where measurable phenomena brush up against the ineffable. Whether the lights were extraterrestrial, military, or something beyond our current frameworks, their legacy endures not just in blurry videos, but in the way they expanded the imaginations of those who saw them. Sometimes the universe doesn't just show us something new, it asks us to reconsider everything we thought we knew. Time isn't the steady, unchanging river we perceive it to be. Einstein shattered that illusion over a century ago with his theory of relativity, proving that clocks tick slower near massive objects like black holes or when moving at blistering speeds. Astronauts orbiting Earth age slightly slower than those on the ground, a fraction of a second, yes, but enough to reveal time's shocking flexibility. Yet here's where it gets even stranger. This cosmic elasticity isn't just the domain of rocket scientists. Mystics, monks, and even accident survivors describe eerily similar distortions, moments when time stretches like taffy or collapses into a single, timeless instant. Could physics and spirituality be circling the same profound truth about reality's most elusive dimension? Take the famous Hayfel-Keating experiment of 1971, where atomic clocks flown around the world returned slightly out of sync with grounded counterparts. The difference was tiny but undeniable. Time literally passed slower for the moving clocks. Now compare that to the accounts of meditators who describe hours slipping by like minutes during deep samadhi states, or near-death experiencers who recall entire life reviews unfolding in what observers swear were mere seconds. The common thread, consciousness itself, seems to warp time's flow, bending it as dramatically as any black hole's gravity. Tibetan yogis speak of stopping the mind's winds to enter timeless realms, while quantum physicists ponder whether observation, the act of measurement, might not just collapse quantum states but subtly anchor the passage of time itself. Then there's the eerie phenomenon of time dilation during crises. Survivors of car crashes or falls often report events unfolding in slow motion, details crisp, thoughts racing, as if reality had downshifted. Science explains this as adrenaline sharpening perception, but studies at Baylor College of Medicine revealed something more puzzling. When volunteers were dropped into free fall simulators, their ability to discern rapid flashes of light improved dramatically during the fall. Their brains weren't just processing faster, they were experiencing more frames per second, like a camera switching to slow motion mode. This mirrors ancient shamanic techniques where drumming at 4 to 7 beats per second induces trances, a rhythm that curiously matches the brain's theta wave state, the same frequency where time perception dissolves. Sacred texts have whispered about this for millennia. Hindu scriptures describe Brahma's day lasting 4.3 billion human years, while the Quran states celestial time operates differently. A day with your Lord is like 1,000 years of your counting. These aren't just poetic metaphors. GPS satellites orbiting Earth must correct for relativistic time lag, proof that even our technology bows to time's fluidity. Indigenous cultures from the Amazon to Siberia use plant medicines like ayahuasca or Amanita muscaria, reporting journeys that feel like epochs while the fire's embers still glow. Modern psychonauts on DMT encounter entities who claim to inhabit dimensions where past, present, and future coexist, a view shockingly aligned with physicist Carlo Rovelli's timeless physics, where time emerges from our limited perspective rather than being fundamental. Perhaps most startling are the laboratory studies on altered states. At the University of Kentucky, researchers found that experienced meditators could subjectively stretch a minute to feel like 90 seconds without speeding up their heart rates or metabolism. Meanwhile, psychedelic research at Imperial College London showed psilocybin reducing activity in brain regions that govern our sense of linear time. Participants described sensations akin to living all moments at once, a collapse of temporal boundaries that echoes Einstein's insight. The distinction between past, present, and future is only a stubbornly persistent illusion. So where does this leave us? Time dilation isn't just about clocks in motion or the gravity wells of stars. It's a bridge between the outer cosmos and inner experience, between the equations of relativity and the lived truth of mystics. Whether through a physicist's telescope or a monk's focused awareness, the message is the same. Time isn't fixed. It breathes, bends, and sometimes vanishes entirely. Not just out there among the galaxies, but in the quiet depths of human consciousness. The universe's clock has never ticked uniformly. We're just beginning to hear its rhythm. The moon hangs in our night sky like a silent sentinel, its cratered face watching over Earth with an eerie constancy. But beneath its familiar glow lies a mystery that has puzzled scientists for generations. The moon shouldn't exist as it does. Its composition defies the laws of celestial mechanics. Rock samples from the Apollo missions reveal isotopes nearly identical to Earth's, yet the moon lacks the heavy iron core a natural satellite of its size should possess. It's as if someone took a slice of early Earth, removed its dense metallic heart, and placed it in orbit. The most widely accepted theory, the giant impact hypothesis, suggests a Mars-sized body collided with our young planet, ejecting debris that coalesced into the moon. But even this violent birth story can't fully explain the moon's uncanny chemistry or its impossibly precise orbit, which perfectly eclipses the sun despite being 400 times smaller. Ancient texts add another layer of intrigue. Aristotle wrote of the Arcadians, a pre-lunar people who dwelt in mountains before there was a moon in the sky. Native American Zuni legends speak of a time when the night was dark until a great bowl of light was set in place. Even the Greek historian Plutarch mentioned a priestly caste preserving knowledge from an era before Earth had its celestial companion. These scattered accounts, dismissed as myth for centuries, now give pause. Could they be fragmented memories of a cataclysmic event, or something even more extraordinary? The moon's influence extends far beyond tides. Studies show hospital admissions spike during full moons, while coral reefs synchronize their spawning to lunar cycles. Human sleep patterns shallow under a bright full moon, even when test subjects are shielded from seeing it. Plants from basil to bamboo exhibit growth spurts tied to lunar phases, a phenomenon documented in medieval agricultural manuals long before science confirmed it. This isn't just gravity at work. It's as if biological life is hardwired to respond to lunar rhythms. Some researchers propose the moon acts as a cosmic tuning fork, stabilizing Earth's axial tilt to maintain seasons, and perhaps even catalyzing the leap from single-celled organisms to complex life. Then there's the most provocative theory of all, that the moon is artificial, not a spaceship as some sensationalists claim, but an engineered structure, a placed object designed to stabilize Earth's rotation and accelerate evolution. The math is unsettling. The moon's size, distance, and reflective properties create conditions unique in our solar system. No other planet has a satellite so perfectly proportioned to its host. Even more bizarre are the moon's acoustic properties. During the Apollo missions, seismometers left on the surface recorded the moon ringing like a bell for hours after meteor impacts, suggesting an unusually rigid or hollow interior. Mainstream science attributes this to dry, fractured rock, but the echoes linger in conspiracy circles and cutting-edge astrophysics alike. Whether natural or engineered, the moon's true origins may forever hover just beyond our grasp. Each Apollo sample, each lunar probe, deepens the mystery rather than solves it. Perhaps the answer doesn't lie in rock composition or orbital mechanics alone, but in the moon's silent role as a cosmic mirror, reflecting back not just sunlight, but our own unresolved questions about where we came from and why this silver disk watches over us with such perfect, puzzling precision. One moment, a person sits quietly in their chair. The next, they're reduced to ashes, yet the room around them remains untouched, the furniture unburned, even the newspaper beside their body left intact. This is the horrifying enigma of spontaneous human combustion, a phenomenon so bizarre it straddles the line between forensic anomaly and supernatural event. Documented cases span centuries, from the charred remains of Countess Cornelia Bandy in 1731 to the infamous death of Mary Riessa in 1951, whose body was almost entirely cremated inside her apartment, save for one slippered foot. The science behind it, thin at best, the spiritual interpretations chillingly vivid. Medical experts scramble for explanations, suggesting everything from the wick effect, or where body fat supposedly acts like candle wax, to rare chemical reactions within the gut. But these theories crumble under scrutiny. How could a human body, composed mostly of water, burn at temperatures hot enough to liquefy bone yet leave nearby objects unscathed? Why do so many cases involve the torso and extremities turning to fine ash while the skull or limbs often remain? Even more perplexing are reports of victims found in closed rooms with no signs of struggle, as if the fire ignited from within and consumed them in moments. Forensic scientists admit current models can't account for the sheer intensity or selectivity of these burns. It's as if some unseen force precisely targeted the human body, leaving everything else in the environment eerily undisturbed. Now shift the lens to spirituality. In certain esoteric traditions, spontaneous combustion isn't an accident. It's a sign of extreme energetic imbalance. Hindu and Tibetan texts describe inner fire practices like Tummo meditation, where advanced practitioners generate intense body heat to withstand freezing temperatures. Could an uncontrolled version of this mechanism lead to combustion? Some mystics point to karmic acceleration, where unresolved spiritual energy literally burns through the physical form. The Kabbalah speaks of soul sparks so volatile they destabilize the body's material shell. Even Western alchemy references the incineration of the impure, a symbolic or perhaps literal purification by flame. The overlap between these accounts and modern cases is unsettling. Witnesses often describe a sweet, smoky odor preceding incidents, reminiscent of the odor of sanctity, said to accompany saintly miracles. A few survivors, those who suffered severe burns without obvious cause, report vivid dreams of fire in the weeks before their ordeal, as if their bodies were broadcasting a warning. One 19th century case involved a French nun whose habit was found intact amid her ashes, mirroring the incorruptible relics of certain saints. Coincidence? or evidence of a phenomenon that operates beyond conventional physics. Perhaps the most haunting detail lies in the residue. In verified cases, the ash left behind is unusually fine, almost powdered, with traces of metallic particles not typically found in human tissue. Chemists have compared it to crematorium remains, but with one stark difference. Industrial cremation requires sustained temperatures over 1,400 degrees Fahrenheit for hours. Spontaneous combustion achieves similar results in minutes with no external heat source. Some researchers speculate about plasma discharges or quantum tunneling effects, exotic physics that might explain the impossible heat. Others whisper about biophotonic overload, where the body's own light-emitting molecules somehow amplify into catastrophe. Whether a freak biochemical glitch or a metaphysical anomaly, spontaneous human combustion forces us to confront the fragility of our understanding. Science demands evidence, yet the evidence here defies known laws. Spirituality offers symbolism, but the burns are brutally real. Between these two worlds flickers a truth we can't yet grasp, a reminder that the human body, for all its studied biology, may still harbor energies or vulnerabilities beyond our textbooks. The next time you sit alone in a quiet room, consider this. The line between the possible and the inexplicable might be as thin as a matchstick, waiting for the right spark to blur it forever. Hidden away in a Yale University vault lies a book unlike any other, a crumbling 200-page manuscript filled with looping, alien script and paintings of plants that don't exist. Since its discovery in 1912, the Voynich Manuscript has resisted every attempt at translation, becoming the Mount Everest of cryptography. Carbon dated to the early 1500s, its pages pulse with an eerie intentionality. Sections divided into herbal, astronomical, and biological diagrams, all rendered in ink that's faded but still vibrantly strange. The text itself flows in an unknown alphabet, with characters that resemble Latin or Cyronian script yet follow no recognizable linguistic pattern. Statistical analysis reveals the writing has the rhythm and repetition of a real language, just one we've never seen before. Cryptologists have thrown everything at this puzzle. World War II codebreakers, supercomputers running AI algorithms, even scholars of dead languages, all have failed to crack its cipher. Some suggest it's an elaborate medieval hoax, but the complexity argues against that. The manuscript's word frequency matches natural languages, and its structure indicates genuine content, recipes in one section, star charts in another. Then there are the illustrations, unearthly flora with bulbous roots and spiral leaves, celestial diagrams showing unfamiliar constellations, and most hauntingly, pages of nude women bathing in interconnected tubes of green liquid. These aren't random doodles, they're meticulous, almost clinical, as if documenting knowledge from another world or another time. Theories spiral from scholarly to supernatural. Could it be a pharmacopoeia for plants now extinct, or a visual representation of quantum physics centuries ahead of its time? The botanical sections particularly unsettle researchers. Many plants resemble known species, but with twisted morphologies like flora from a parallel evolutionary path. One illustration shows a sunflower with human faces in its seeds, while another depicts a tree whose roots form anatomical diagrams. These aren't just artistic liberties, they suggest a symbolic system where botany, anatomy, and cosmology intertwine. Alchemists of the period often encoded secrets in imagery, but nothing matches the Voynich's peculiar fusion of precision and absurdity. Spiritual traditions offer their own clues. Certain pages evoke the Kabbalistic tree of life, with branching tubes mirroring the Sephirot. The bathing women scenes recall descriptions of the fountains of life in Hermetic texts, where liquid light purifies the soul. Even the script's curling glyphs resemble automatic writing, a practice mystics use to channel otherworldly messages. Notably, the manuscript's likely creator, 16th century occultist Edward Kelly, claimed to receive divine dictation in an angelic language called Enochian. Parallels are tantalizing, though no direct link has been proven. Modern technology only deepens the enigma. Spectral imaging reveals faint underdrawings, suggesting the artist revised their work as if struggling to depict something beyond reference. Ink analysis shows traces of compounds used by Renaissance apothecaries, hinting at medicinal or alchemical purposes. Yet the most startling discovery came in 2019, when AI identified the script's structure as closest to Hebrew, though translated attempts yield only fragmented phrases about light and breath. Some researchers now propose it's a lost language hybrid, blending Arabic numerals, Latin abbreviations, and invented symbols to conceal heretical knowledge from the Inquisition. Perhaps the manuscript's true power lies in its resistance to solution. Like a Rorschach test for the ages, it reflects back whatever lens we apply. Cryptographers see codes, botanists see mutant species, mystics see arcane revelations. In this way, it becomes more than a puzzle. It's a mirror for our own longing to uncover hidden truths. The Voynich Manuscript doesn't just challenge our ability to decode. It asks a more profound question. Are some mysteries meant to stay mysteries, not because they can't be solved, but because the act of searching itself transforms us? 6 centuries on, its pages still hum with that possibility, waiting for the right reader, or perhaps the right moment, to finally whisper their secrets. You're rushing out the door when a song plays one you haven't heard in years, just as you're thinking of an old friend. Then your phone lights up. It's them texting out of the blue. Your skin prickles. This isn't just coincidence. It feels like the universe whispering. Carl Jung called these moments synchronicity, meaningful coincidences that defy pure chance, events linked not by cause and effect, but by something far more mysterious, significance. A concept born at the intersection of psychology and the paranormal, synchronicity challenges our neat division between the rational and the mystical, between cold probability and the uncanny sense that the cosmos might just be paying attention. Jung's own life brimmed with examples. After years studying ancient alchemical texts, he kept dreaming of a kingfisher bird, a creature tied to alchemical symbolism. One afternoon, an actual kingfisher, rare for his Swiss lakeside home, landed on his windowsill. For Jung, this wasn't just a quirky happenstance. It was evidence of a causal connecting principle, where inner psychology and outer reality mirror each other in ways science can't yet explain. His patients reported similar experiences. One recounted a dream of a golden scarab, only to have a rose chafer beetle, a near-identical insect, tap at the therapy window moments later. The scarab, in Egyptian mythology, symbolized rebirth, precisely the transformation the patient was undergoing. Too precise for randomness, yet too subjective for labs. Science, of course, prefers less poetic explanations. Critics argue synchronicity is just apophenia, the brain's tendency to find patterns where none exist. We're wired for narrative, they say, stitching random events into stories to soothe our craving for meaning. Statisticians point to the law of truly large numbers. With billions of people experiencing countless events daily, improbable coincidences are inevitable. But here's the rub: synchronicity isn't about raw probability. It's about resonance. A stranger mentioning your mother's name on the day of her death anniversary hits differently than flipping a coin heads 5 times in a row. The math might be identical, but the weight, that's where logic stumbles. Indigenous wisdom offers another lens. The Maori concept of tutaki, describes encounters where the spiritual and physical worlds momentarily align, carrying messages for those attuned enough to notice. In Hindu tradition, such coincidences might be attributed to the workings of karma, invisible threads connecting actions across lifetimes. Even quantum physics entertains the idea of non-local connections, where particles influence each other instantaneously across vast distances. Could synchronicity be the macroscopic echo of this quantum weirdness, a hint that separation itself is an illusion? Then there's the role of intention. Studies on simulation theory suggest our focused attention might subtly shape reality, drawing related events into our orbit. Athletes visualize success before a game, manifestors script desired outcomes, and sometimes the world complies in ways that feel eerily precise. A musician thinks of a forgotten melody, then hears it in a cafe. A writer stumbles on the perfect research book left open in a library. These aren't just happy accidents to those who experience them, they're nudges, cosmic winks suggesting we're on the right path. Perhaps the most tantalizing thread is time. Jung collaborated with physicist Wolfgang Pauli, exploring how synchronicity might reflect a deeper, timeless order. Modern theories like retrocausality propose that future events could influence the past, creating loops where cause and effect blur. Think of déjà vu, or dreams that later unfold in reality. Synchronicity might be the visible stitch in time's fabric, moments when the universe's seamlessness flickers into view. So where does that leave us? Science demands mechanisms, spirituality speaks of flow. Maybe synchronicity is the bridge, not proof of a sentient universe, but evidence that meaning isn't something we impose on reality. It's something we discover, woven into existence itself. The next time a coincidence stops you cold, don't just dismiss it or blindly mystify it. Sit with the shiver it brings. That's the edge where logic and wonder meet, where the universe just maybe winks back. From the Great Attractor's invisible pull to synchronicity's uncanny whispers, these 20 cosmic riddles share a common thread. They dissolve the hard lines we've drawn between the measurable and the mystical. Each phenomenon is a fracture in our ordinary reality, a glimpse into a universe that operates by rules far stranger than our textbooks dare to suggest. Science marches forward with equations and experiments, probing the mechanics behind these mysteries, while spirituality leans into the numinous, sensing patterns and purpose beyond the physical. Yet at their core, both pursuits spring from the same primal urge, to stand under the stars and feel the electric thrill of not knowing. Take the way black holes shred our notions of time and space, while near-death experiences describe realms where those same laws seem to bend. Or consider how quantum entanglement mirrors ancient concepts of oneness, particles communicating instantaneously across cosmic distances, as if separation itself is an illusion. Even the Voynich Manuscript's unreadable pages and the Tao's hum's inaudible drone play with the boundaries of perception, teasing us with truths just beyond our grasp. These aren't just curiosities, they're invitations to expand what we consider possible. What's most humbling is how often these phenomena echo humanity's oldest stories. The Great Attractor's gravitational pull finds its twin in myths of cosmic currents guiding souls. Ball lightning's fleeting orbs resemble the the wisps of folklore dancing between worlds. Science frames them as puzzles to solve. Spirituality sees them as reminders of a deeper order, but perhaps both miss the point. The real magic lies in the tension between knowing and not knowing, in the space where awe outpaces explanation. So where does that leave us? Not with conclusions, but with better questions. What if dark matter isn't just missing mass, but the physical shadow of a hidden dimension? Could spontaneous human combustion be the extreme end of a mind-body phenomenon we're only beginning to map? Even the Mandela Effect challenges us to ask, is reality as solid as we think, or are we co-creating it moment by moment? These mysteries don't just defy categorization, they demand we stay curious, open, and a little uncomfortable. Tonight, when you step outside and look up, remember this: the universe isn't just above you. It's within you, humming in your cells, whispering in your intuition, echoing in every coincidence that makes your breath catch. Whether you're drawn to telescopes or meditation cushions, lab coats or sacred texts, the cosmos meets you where you are. So tell us which of these 20 wonders lingers in your thoughts. Drop your favorite in the comments, and let's keep the conversation as boundless as the mysteries themselves. The stars have been waiting for your questions. Who knows what answers might